Hey, Rich, how are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I don't know if you went over this because we didn't hear most of your opening, but how would you describe the Michigan defensive line? You had a lot of praise for Iowa's defensive line last week. How would you describe how good Michigan's defensive line is?
I think they're really good, but I think the difference is with Iowa, they were really controlling the game on the defense side of the ball with their D line. They put a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure on their D line. It started and ended with their D line. Literally, you'd line up, you saw on tape, you'd line up in empty formations, and they'd play a four-man box. And they were able to do that because of how they coached and how they played those defensive linemen, especially with their length, which is really unusual. So I think it really started and ended with their D-line in a lot of different ways. Where Michigan, obviously their personnel is impressive. Gary, we all know about him. The defensive end we just talked about, we know about him, the middle linebacker. But I would say what really is Michigan is the corners. It starts, with their corners. They're able to put those guys on an island and play press man coverage all the time. But again, there's very few plays where you look on the film and you see a light box. They're going to overload you in the box. Everybody's at the line of scrimmage, pressuring you in your face. High pressure, run game blitzes, pass game blitzes. And it's challenging. There's no doubt about it. I think you guys have heard me mention this before. It reminds me, when I first got, to the University of Maryland, you played Florida State, and they were really talented, and they played press man, and they overloaded the box, and there wasn't a whole lot of yards when you watch the tape. You're fighting for every yard you could get, and that's how I would describe them. Don, as a defensive coordinator, and their defense, I would describe them as greedy. They want to take everything away, where most defensive coordinators and coaches don't really approach it that way. So it's real challenging. But I think obviously their personnel is extremely good. They've been recruiting well for a long time, even before this staff arrived. Personnel has always been strong at Michigan. But I think, obviously their scheme combined with their personnel is very challenging.
Bob Flounders, Harrisburg Patriot News.
Hi, Dan. How are you?